Hi, my name is Lisaho, and I am a tarot reader and an astrologer. And today I am going to be speaking about the new moon in the sign of Virgo that is happening on the 23rd of August, 2025, depending on your time zone. So if this interests you, stick around. If not, you can click to the section that applies to you or that you're interested in. But before I show the chart, I am just going to get into a little bit of a ramble, if you like that sort of thing. So when I was looking at the chart of the new moon, it reminded me of the 10 in tarot, right? So I'm speaking more minor arcana than major, but you could look at that. But just to break it down, right? Within the tarot, the significations of numerology are very important when it comes to interpretation of a card. So with 10, right, we have the energy of 0, right? This undefined potential. And then the energy of 1, right? That potential has been defined. So basically, it's the end of one cycle, but the beginning of a next, because we are not experiencing life in a linear manner. We are always, going through a cycle, going through some sort of season, and everything kind of flows within itself. So that's how I saw this configuration. And you will see when I bring up the chart that the planets involved are at 0 degrees and 1 degrees. So without further ado, I will just share the chart. Okay. Taking its time. So this is the chart for the new moon in my time zone, right? So you can check when it is gonna apply within your time zone if you want the specific details. But why I'm bringing that up as well is because you will notice that there is a degree for the AC and for the MC, right? So the ascendant and the midheaven. We do not focus on that when it comes to the interpretation of the new moon. However, maybe someone does. I do not apply it within my interpretation because it applies in different time zones. So when it comes to this new moon, it is happening at 0 degrees, 23 minutes of Virgo, which is a mutable earth sign, right? Virgo is at the end, right? It signifies the change within a season, right? Adaptation, flexibility, those are qualities and attributes associated with the mutable signs, right? And when we are looking at 0 degrees, what it also reminded me of is the fact that the new moon happens when the moon is between the sun and the earth, right? So we can't see the moon, right? It's not visible to us. It is there, but it's not visible. And that's why a lot of people associate the new moon with figuring out what your intentions for this next cycle are about, is because we don't know where this could go, but getting a sense of direction before the full moon, we want to know where we are at, right? So with 0 degrees of Virgo, it's kind of feeling like this could go anywhere. We don't even know what our intentions are, right? And you could be looking to start something new, or if you aren't initiating anything, you could find that something new begins all on its own during this new moon. However, I will make a note that people who probably have planets or points at 0 degrees of Virgo are probably going to feel this a lot more than people who do not have. It's not to say it won't influence you, it just depends on the individual and their natal chart, right? And the cycle they're going through as well. That is not to say that you won't notice anything. I'm just saying it might be a lot more visible for those people. Now, yes, I did mention new beginning potential, right? But I do want you to note that this new moon is making an aspect with a very distinguishable planet during this time. This new moon is making a square to Uranus, right? Uranus is at 1 degrees, 23 minutes of Gemini, right? And why this stuck out to me is because I saw this, yes, as we can begin something new, but something about what we are beginning it makes us uncomfortable. It is stirring something within us that we were struggling to reconcile and we're struggling to adapt to because it might just happen very quickly. Alternatively, we could find that something is cut before it even begins, it ends. And we're just like, what just happened? Why is this me? I think this could apply to different individuals. That's why I'm giving different scenarios. But what I want you to take note of is that an ending is technically a new beginning. You are coming with all that you know and all that you have into this new cycle. It just doesn't look the way that you would expect it, as an ending. And that's why I mentioned the energy of 10 earlier, is because that is what happens when we end something. We might think something is one and done, but because of everything we have gathered, we know that we are moving towards a different direction in life. And why I'm kind of like mentioning everything that is happening in the background, that we are coming with into this new cycle, is the fact that the new moon, the planets in the sign of Virgo, right? So the sun, the moon, and also Uranus in Gemini are all ruled by Mercury. And at this moment in time, Mercury is in the sign of Leo, right? It's at 12 degrees, 33 minutes of Leo, right? Now, if you do not know, Mercury is still in its post-retrograde shadow, right? So we are just out of Mercury retrograde, and we are just, just trying to assimilate everything that we have gathered and reflected on. Now, I do want to make note of, how this new moon could help you or assist you. And what I feel this is about is getting our mind in the right place, having a sense of vision, focusing on what we wanted in the first place and not getting distracted by any changes that come about. Because at the end of the day, the sign of Leo is a fixed fire sign. So it is focused, it is burning bright, it is expressing itself and its passions. And that's what we need to do if you are experiencing any changes that you don't know how to deal with during this full moon. Just focus your mind, know what your vision is. And I do also want to add the fact that the Mercury, right, is basically sextile Mars. So it is separating, 2 degrees at 2 degrees. However, I do feel this is just more motivation. We are looking to drive ourselves and motivate ourselves. We just might not feel like it. It's just sudden, abrupt. We feel kind of like cut at the ankles. So if you have stayed this long, then I am going to pull some oracle cards. So I am using Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection, if you are interested. I'm not gonna like show the cards while they just fell, which is, so dwell on what you love, which is basically what I just mentioned. So maybe I'll just attach a picture of the cards at the end of the video. So dwell on what you love. There isn't a soul on this planet who doesn't crave your approval, and turn on your love light, right? So for me, when I'm looking at turn on your love light, dwell on what you love, it's to me drawing back that Leo energy, that focus of, what are we doing this for? Why do we want this change? Or even if it's an ending, why could this be good for us? And there isn't a soul on this planet who doesn't crave your approval, right? At the end of the day, right, we do all of this. Yes, we are living with other people, we are human beings, and we are, interaction, very important to us as human beings. Might not be everyone, take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt at the end of the day. But what I do want to say with approval, right? At the end of the day, it is your vision, right? And if you are experiencing any changes due to other people, I think that the people who support you, they know that they don't always have to agree with what you are doing and vice versa. Like we don't always have to be like, yes, I'm on your side, but we don't need to seek their approval, or we don't kind of need them to be ticking a box. And the same with them for us. They don't need us to be ticking some box. The people in your life choose to be there because at the end of the day, it is a choice, or it depends, on how people are living their lives. And I just want to say that I think, depending on your natal chart, right, this new moon could be a very good time to reorient yourself during eclipse season, which is coming up. Alternatively, you could be going through a whole new cycle that is outside of this, depending on the rest of your cycles. And this is just a bus stop, which is okay, you know? And you need to take everything with a pinch of salt, see how it applies in your life, and not get ready to kind of like run around the earth screaming, yes, the new moon is square Uranus. Yes, it can be uncomfortable. It can be disruptive. It can feel like the tables have turned on our head, its head. But I think why this is so good is because of, we all need to go through certain things at a certain time in our lives. And you could see that in this new moon if you like. If not, that's also okay. So I know this is probably a bit of a ramble. And if you have any comments, if you have anything you'd like to say on this new moon, let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you in my next video.